It's not showing. Oh, I don't see it on my end. Oh, can you post the link or I can post it? Okay. I can hear you on here. I can hear you on here.
I think I just have to turn the mic on as well. All right. Um, so it should be working now. If we jump onto the YouTube, we'll have the game running on the background. We don't have to look at the video feed to get some of the answers, but it just helps. So I've got. By the way, the YouTube URL is youtube.com/@pixelstarships. It's a new
Yeah, I
channel.
posted the link in the chat.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I don't have the Discord window open anymore. So yeah,
Yeah, no worries, no worries.
just in the game. This is the creation of a new account, so I'll just do some random username. And in the backdrop here is an example of a space station. This is just one level of it at the moment. Once the game is launched, there will be a couple of levels, extra levels in the space station. So I'm also going through the onboarding here. And also what I'll do is jump onto the game on another device. So the space station is designed as like a social hub for players. It can be the access can be controlled among friends and fleets. And once the final space station is done, there will be little crates where you can deposit your items and trade and talk with other players. So you can go. Just gonna type something oddly interesting here. I can also join the space station as a different user. So it's a multiplayer social sharing environment. I think we're gonna support up to theoretically about 200 people together. So let me just join as one other player and see if we can see that guy around. Yep. So I've just logged in on another device, and yep, you can see the chat and ability to trade later and get profile infos. So yeah, this is the base setup for the space stations, and we'll build on top of that, obviously, with new features. In the Galaxy, okay, so maybe what I'll do is finish the onboarding and get into the Galaxy. So usually in the space station, you can park a number of ships here on this particular variety of space station. This is just for the tutorial lobby. So the ships are kind of like pre-configured. I can go into each of the hangar bays and yeah, select one of the ships. I might just go with a pirate one. Cool. So you can see how big the space station is. We've currently opened up access to one level of it. On the top and bottom levels, that's where a player can go. Oh no. This is the problem with testing a new build. Okay, I might have to give that a restart. All right, let's hope second time lucky. Okay, good. It worked this time. So once if you purchase a space station, this is the galaxy view in the game. The space stations will be placed at a I guess owner defined location. So here is one of the systems, but you can effectively elect to place your space station anywhere here. And once it's placed, so this is not the complete version of the galaxy yet. In the complete version, you can see where the other players are and how busy each of the system is, which factions or fleets control each system. And the space station would sit somewhere just in the space. And you can move your ship there and get other players to join. So as a high level, that's how the space stations work.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you for the clarification. I think that was a lot of players' concerns.
Yeah.
When it comes to the functionality of star bases. Now, moving on to the next question,
Yeah.
or the follow-up question, I should say, is there's an echo because I have your video on. Right? Okay, there we go. So the follow-up question is, how much control will players that bought star bases have over the star base itself? Like, what control do they have? Do they have like cosmetic control, or do they have moderation control, like control over who actually could get access to the star bases? Can they decorate their star bases? Can they change not just the internal but external visuals of the star bases? Things like that.
Yeah, all of the above actually. Firstly, once they acquire a starbase, the placement and visual skins and the naming of the space station. I mean, it can't be it can't be like an absurd name, but I think we're pretty relaxed on naming as well. And then you can control the access to either a fleet or your friends to go into it. I think at launch the space station won't have the full feature set, but you will definitely have at least the chat, the trading options. But yeah, I think we'll add on extra features as we go along as well.
Could you elaborate a little bit more on the trading features exactly, like what will go on within the Starbase?
Yeah, so it gives a chance for players to trade certain things off the GBay market. I think that's been a function that's been in demand already, but we didn't allow it because of the risk of it being abused. But because this is a space station with access control, we can have a bit more, I guess, restrictions in place on what can be done, and so it will allow some direct player-to-player trading as well.
Would it be the same as how, like, how we have contraband in Pixel Starships 1? There'll be certain items that you can trade, but there'll be certain ones would it be like the contraband items in Pixel Starships 1, where there's certain items you can sell, but there's certain items you cannot?
Yes, yeah. So I think that's one of the controls we want to have in place, because it can't be a completely open-ended trading, and also we want to set limit on how much a player can trade between to another player, just in case there is abuse.
Okay, awesome. That sounds good. And then moving on now, since we kind of covered majority of Starbase, is planets.
Mm-hmm.
So what exactly, when someone purchases the pack for the planet, is it just the planet or the whole solar system?
Okay, so yep, that's a great question. It's just a planet. And actually in this view, you can see an example of a couple of planets. So I'm in the Arcturus system. There's a couple of planets in this system. Some are like really far away. Yeah, and if I click on one of the planets, also firstly, there's a limited number of planets and space stations in the galaxy. So there's only going to be up to 80 space stations and up to 200 planets, and that's including the base planets and space stations in the storyline missions, so in the main game. So once you get into a planet, this is obviously still under construction. You will be able to see a number of stats about the planet, like the type of the type of planet it is, like a solid or gas, what the resource composition is for that planet, the effectiveness of harvesting or mining in that planet, and how much total resources are in there, as well as any planetary upgrades that's going to come in further expansions. So you get a lot of statistical info. Two of the main things you can do in planets is do missions and mining. So with mining specifically, in Pixel Starships 2, each planet will have the total mineable amount set, and we're not planning for it to be respawnable at this stage. The design could change a bit, but the idea is we make it a pretty realistic reflection of the actual galaxy. And you can deploy mining drones and start mining and pick kind of the best planet to mine based on what you're looking for at that place in the game. So here.
Okay, so you've covered the features of the planet, but what is the benefit for those who actually buy the planet? Or do they get a percentage of the cut of the resources that these players or other players mine out of the planet, or is there like a social hub on the planet itself?
Yeah.
What are some of the benefits for those people who are buying planets?
Yeah, thanks for clarifying that. As a owner of the planet, you get to choose the access control and also the tax rate for mining. So you don't have to set a tax rate for mining, but you could. And any mining by other players or factions in that planet, you can elect to take a percentage of the mining output, and so you get to keep that. That's a function we're planning to add for planet owners. The planet can also be traded as well between other players. How we planning to control the asset ownership part, it's still the technical implementation of that is still up for debate. But it's going to be one of two things: either via a centralized backend web portal, which we will develop, or we can try to do it as an NFT. But this will kind of depend on what the owners of the planet will feed back to us, because we got the technical ability to make this on a blockchain, but not every user would want it on a blockchain as well. So we have to go with what the consensus is by the owners of the planets on how it's managed. And in the game itself, I think when we launch, we'll have primarily focused on the mining aspect of the planets. But in the second phase, it's more about customization of the missions and any expansion add-ons you can build onto the planet. Like, for example, you might be able to build some type of bases on the planet, but this is a feature that's going to be quite a while in the future. So I'm probably won't go into any details right now on those, because you could change and could be wrong.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for the responses. There's some follow-up questions that some players have, but I'll kind of augment them a bit. So how much control will someone have over a planet exactly? If, for example, they have a fleet, Will they be able to waive the taxation on fleet members, and but all non-fleet members experience the tax?
Yeah, that's a good detail to point out. Yep, we'll definitely add functions to do that. Um, it wasn't discussed yet on the current development, but I think that's uh, easily achievable.
And another question, because I think you kind of went over that certain resources on a planet can dwindle down. So what
Yes.
happens when the resources are exhausted?
Yeah, at this stage, so each of the planet will have a quite a huge amount of resources, you know, to kind of reflect reality, but also the value for Kickstarter backers who's supported us. Um, so we're anticipating at least 100x value to what the current sale price of the planets are. That's quite significant. That's hundreds of thousands of different resource types inside the planet or resources. They do get used up as players mine the planet, and I guess eventually they may run out. The planets all have different amounts of various resources as well, and they are going to be randomly allocated at the end of the Kickstarter campaign instead of so that's different to the space stations. The space stations you get to kind of pick and choose what the space station is and where it's placed. The planets are from a randomized like number drawing system. So
Okay, so pretty much you're saying that the planets are they're random, but they're more fixed. You don't have too much freedom of where your planet's going to be.
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. And in addition to that, about the resources, what I think you're getting at is that there'll be a fixed number of resources, but they'll dwindle down. But is it like based on a timer? So like once, like say a week has passed, it refreshes, or is it gonna be exhausted and the planet's done for?
It's going to be uh, I guess exhausted and the planet's done for, but I don't think most planets will get to that state, um, or at least not in any fast amount of time. Um, the the resources are quite huge, and you can set obviously the tax rate and the access permissions to mining those resources. So it partially depends on what those attributes are set to by the owner, on how attractive it is for someone to go and mine from that planet. I mean, across the entire galaxy, there's a big supply of various resources, but something like dark matter might be rarer and not appear, on every planet. The other function we can do is exploration. So in PSS2 there is a scanner on the ship as well. That's a new room we're introducing. So there's two type of exploration you can do on the planet: scanning it, and also deploying ground troops to the planet as well. So there's a couple of different functions, but in terms of resources, a huge number of resources, but they do run out. It's an absolute number that gets updated in real time as other ships are mining those planets.
Okay, so I just want to clarify that the planets will possibly have an option for you to one explore, scan the planet, and then also hopefully in the future have some sort of base so you can have a little hub for other fleet members or friends in game.
Yeah.
Also, the resources for the planet will be finite, but there'll be a huge amount. And the way you're describing it, it won't run out until a couple of years, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think it would be very planet dependent and also access permission dependent. But yeah, they will run out. Hopefully for most planets, I don't foresee them running out in a couple of years. But the types of resources are going to be different as well. In the final UI, you can see what available resources are on the planet, and some of the resources may run out before others. So there could be, for example, less gold, but more iron, and the iron may take a very long time to exhaust, but the gold may exhaust in 6 months, for example. So there's the
Oh, okay,
yeah.
I see.
There's
Okay, that makes sense.
yeah, but then you can find a different planet that has the other type of resources. So there's a bit of strategy for the players as well as the owners. Also want to emphasize in terms of like meeting up in the planet, because we've got the space stations. We want the space stations to be the main kind of social hub, and the planet won't necessarily have the live chat and the lobby function similar to the space stations.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a bit of sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for answering that question. Let's move on to another question that other players had. So it was regarding a little bit of elaboration on some of the items that drop in packs. One of them was the exclusive Captain Pet. One player was asking me whether that was purely cosmetic or an example or similar to what the Captain Pet in Pixel Starship 1 is.
Yeah, we haven't made a decision on that yet. Like, it is a new pet, but the stats we haven't decided on if it's going to be only a cosmetic, so exactly the same as another pet in the game, or if it's going to have something unique about it. I think for the time being, to be safe, assume it's going to be the same stats, so we don't, so no one's kind of disappointed if the stats are going to be the same. So assume that, but it's something we're still working on, because I'll go back to the game to show why. So because the level up and the character system is quite different on Pixel Starships 2, we're still working with the balance of the stats. So all of these are still subject to change until we've got that ironed out in the next 6 to 12 months. We can't really make a final call on how much difference some of the I guess more exclusive rewards are going to have.
Okay. All right. I got it. Thank you. So the next couple of questions are going to be kind of regarding more packs and hopefully additions to packs that a lot of players have brought up.
Yeah.
First one has to do with I know we have the crew pack in the Kickstarter, but some players have been actually requesting if they can be maybe even at an additional cost, maybe added to the add-ons for crew packs and ship packs. Maybe not ship packs, but crew packs for Pixel Starships 1. A lot of people would like to still get a crew in Pixel Starships 1, and I don't think I wouldn't think that they will have a problem with paying for it either. So that's why I'm saying you can still support the Kickstarter, but I just have it on as an add-on. Would you be okay with that possibility?
Yeah, I think I need to discuss obviously with the art team on our pipeline as well, because especially with the custom packs, we do spend a significant amount of time to work with the backers and make sure that's all done correctly. So I just have to check with the team on our capacity going forward.
Okay, just keep in mind this is just for Pixel Starship 1, so
yes,
not Pixel Starship 2.
Yeah.
And the idea is still for it to be an add-on. So in order for them to get the additional one, they still have to support the Pixel Starships 2.
Yeah, traditionally we've had a lot of requests over email about this, and we've generally said no. I think we've said actually no to every one of the requests, because we ran this during Kickstarter only. But yeah, I guess we are currently in a Kickstarter campaign, although it's mainly for Pixel Starships 2. I would avoid adding another option on the website just to keep things simple and concise, because if there's only one or two people that's requesting this, it's probably easier we just work this out via message, and they can still back the same pack. That's my immediate thoughts. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. And then a few more questions. The next one is regarding how much the Starbucks, how much Starbase and planets cost. One of the ideas that a few players have brought up is the possibility of having monthly payments for certain Kickstarters. I know that's a little bit against the whole idea of a Kickstarter, is to kind of get the money now or get the payment now. But they wanted to know if that's a possibility, because the star bases and the planets, they do cost a lot.
Yeah.
And the star bases and the planets, they do cost a lot. And but I mean, if they keep on paying whatever weekly, monthly, and they actually get the ship or the star base or the planet at the end, I don't know if that's an issue, but I just wanted to bring it up and see what you think about it.
That's very interesting. Haven't had that come up yet in discussion. I'm gonna write that down, and we'll have a chat about this next week in the team meeting, and I'll have to get back on this one. Yeah, I think if there's a demand for it, we'll try and create something that facilitates that. We didn't foresee this issue earlier.
Yeah, no worries. I didn't even get that many. It was just like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if you got any through.
Yeah.
All right. So the next question that I have is regarding. Okay, I have to give you. Regarding bonus rolls. This was really just regarding the mechanics of Pixel Starships 2.
Mm-hmm.
Will bonus rolls be a thing in Pixel Starships 2? Like, we know what we have for hero and special tier items. You have the opportunity to roll an additional stat or additional stat to the item. Would that still be a thing in Pixel Starships 2, or are you hopefully planning on taking that out?
Yeah, that is still a thing at this moment. We're my son's here. No, we're in a meeting. So that is still a thing, and it's not only for stats but also for cosmetics as well now. Yeah. So for example, when we draw a new crew, the thing is we wanted everything to be rather unique in PSS2. So if I go and do a crew draw, and this is kind of a temporary setup. Okay, so we'll get like a Jack Zombie Alpaco, for example. So there is a system in place where everything, so weapons, crew can all have unique traits. So as you get a different crew, they may look a little bit different to a similar crew, but with a unique perk. Yeah, and that's also true for weapons as well. For the high tier weapons, not the base tier weapons.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for answering that. And I think that is it. There's more questions, but we hit our time limit.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, guys. And yeah, we'll keep running these AMAs as there's more questions on board. So yeah, thanks for running the Q&A.
No problem, and thank you for having it. And also, thank you all for participating. Well, thank you all for participating in. Oh my God, my push to talk, it keeps on turning off. Thank you all for joining us in this AMA. Hopefully you join us for the next AMA.
Yeah, I think
my push to talk is failing me right now. But yeah, thank you all for joining this AMA.
I'll just turn my camera off. My son's stuck into the room. Yeah, great. Thanks. Have a great weekend, everyone. And yeah, thanks again for supporting us. Oh, I see all the chat messages now.
You're welcome, and have a good weekend, then.
Thank you. Bye.
我化妆完了。